Okay, I got my drawing, my small drawing. I gridded it, made it bigger, and now I got my big drawing. Now I want to transfer this onto what's called pastel paper and get started on my drawing. Let me show you how to do that. First, you're going to need some pastel paper. I'm going to show you where that is. All right, the pastel paper is over in this cupboard that is near the door here, and right here, oh, the tag fell off. Pastel paper is right there, and you can use any color other than black. I don't want you to use black pastel paper, okay? But we've got this brownish color, we've got a blue in here, and then we got a burgundy that I like. So it's this light blue, a burgundy, or a brown, one of those colors. If it's in a package that's not open, just open the package and take it out. So you're going to take one sheet out. So here's my picture. My final picture is going to have yellow and green and blue and things like that. But I need to transfer that onto this paper. So I want to pick out a pastel color that's going to show up on the paper. And right now, like this blue is going to show up really nice. So I'm going to use a light blue. Obviously, you wouldn't want to use a brown because you're going to barely be able to see the brown because it's almost the same colors. So I'm going to use a light blue. I'm going to put it on the back of this drawing, and I'll show you how to do that. Now by the light box in the corner. And what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to be putting pastel on the back of my drawing. So this is the drawing. This is the front of the drawing. I'm going to flip it over backwards. This is the back of the drawing. And the reason why I'm light box is now I can see through my drawing. Now, I'm going to go over the lines with my blue. Now notice I'm taking the side of the blue and I'm making pretty broad strokes to go over the top of the lines. So I'm going to go over those rather quickly. I don't have to be super neat. Don't go like this with a real skinny line over the top because you might miss it. Just go like this and go over the lines that you want to transfer. My drawing ready to be transferred. So here's the front of it. Now here's the back. The back, I went over all the lines with a blue pastel. You can use any color you want, just don't choose a color that you can't see on your paper. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to leave a little border around the outside, but on this side I'm going to leave a really big border because I want to test area. This is going to be my test area. So if I want to try a texture or a technique, I can try it over here rather than on my drawing. Now, I'm going to tape this down first, and I'm just going to tape the corner. So I'm going to tape one corner, and then I'm going to tape the opposite corner. And I'll show you why that is in a minute. Now, all I'm going to do is take a pencil or a pen, and I'm going to draw over the lines, which is going to push the pastel onto that page. Now, it's super important when you do this that you don't push too hard, because if you push too hard, you will dent the paper, okay? So, for example, if I push really hard on there, I put a dent in my paper. So if I try to get pastel to go over there later, you're going to see where that dent is, okay? There's no pastel there because I dented the paper. So I don't want to dent the paper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trace over the top of this, and it won't take very long at all. I just do this, and I go over it with a pencil. Now, you might want to use a colored pencil because then you can kind of see where you've gone. So I'm just going to draw over this with a colored pencil. And the reason I tape the two corners is I can lift this up and just peek and see if it's coming out. And I can see right now that that is coming out pretty darn well. I can see it pretty easily, okay? So I'm not pressing hard at all. So the two corners keep it in place. I'm going to continue to transfer it like so. And once again, I'm not super careful right now because my drawing, I can always do my drawing later in pastels and be a little more careful when I get more detailed. But I'm just getting the major things in. In this case, it's the beak and the eyes and things like that. So where the eyes are located, where his head's located, and where his feathers start changing colors and so on. So look at this. I can do this really quickly. And that's why I want to make sure that when I went over it with pastels, I went in with a pretty broad stroke of pastels. That way I didn't miss anything. Okay, and remember I was going to do these claws a little more detailed later. I just want to kind of know where they're at. And before I'm done, I just want to peel this up and just kind of see if it's coming out. And I can see that came out there. And I'll peel up this side, and that's coming out there. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pastel and just draw a line around the outside. That way I know where my drawing is supposed to end, because that way I do my background all the way up into those corners. And when I cut my mat later to go over the top of this, I won't have any areas where there's like, I didn't do the corner, okay? So I'm ready to go. I can take this off. I no longer need this anymore, but I'm gonna keep it just in case something would happen to this. Somebody spilled water on it and wrecked that, I need to start over. Then at least I have this later, okay? So I'd put that in your shelf and save it for later. Next, I'm gonna show you how to get started on this. We're gonna lay our base colors down, we're gonna lay textures over the top, and we're gonna start to get it to look more like that, okay?